talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Got a very special guest making his debut on the show. It's Ike Spearman. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Chris, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I know you got a big fight coming up next weekend, making your MMA debut. So I appreciate you carving out a little bit of time, hop on here and chop it up with me for a little bit.
I was definitely, man, happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. You do have a pretty extensive football background. You are making your MMA debut next weekend, as I had mentioned. But first, let's start at the top, man. Where were you born and raised, and kind of what was growing up like for you?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm from Gary, Indiana. For those that don't know about Gary, it's the home of Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was there, it was the murder capital. So I grew up pretty rough. But then in high school, I was able to move out. So I went to Lake Central High School. It's in St. John. It's like 20 minutes from Gary.
Okay.
But I was still there because I got a lot of family still there.
All right.
Then after that, you want to give you just like quick synopsis?
Yeah. Just run it down, man.
Right on. So then, I was originally committed to Ole Miss to play football. Then they had a coaching change or whatnot. So then I went ahead and changed because I wanted to play right away.
Right.
So then I ended up going to Eastern Michigan. And I played for Ron English, who coincidentally, my little brother, he's about to be playing for him 2024 at Louisville.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So football runs in the family. I also come from a wrestling family. My cousin's the head wrestling coach at Indiana.
Nice.
So I got a good background there. But then I went on to play for the Vikings in 2018. I was there in camp with them. Then I got cut. Then I played in the Alliance of American Football. I played in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
For a team called the Birmingham Iron. I was actually on Trent Richardson's team.
Yes, sir. That was my
Most people know
squad
who that
too.
is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right
Yeah.
on. Yes,
I'm
sir.
a
Legion Field.
yes, sir. I'm a big Bama fan. So when I saw the AAF was coming in and I saw Trent was the running back for Birmingham, I was like, "Yep, already got my squad ready." And then
Yes,
that's what I was rooting
sir.
for, man.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, me and Trent, we had some good collisions.
I'm
He was
sure.
still a low for sure. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah. Then I played in the XFL. I was on the Tampa Bay Vipers in 2020. Then COVID happened, shut that down, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much when I dove into mixed martial arts. I started with boxing, then got into jiu-jitsu. So,
Nice,
and now I'm
man.
ready to compete.
Yes, sir, man. Love to hear that. Definitely sounds like you have quite the athletic background. It all runs in the family as well, which is awesome. I'd like to run it back a little bit and talk about, the commit to EMU. What was your recruiting process like coming out of high school? What other schools were you kind of looking at? I know you mentioned Ole Miss, ended up going to Eastern Michigan. What was the process like for you coming out of high school?
Yeah, man. I had a pretty crazy high school career as far as like my recruitment goes.
Mm.
I was 160 pounds soaking wet
About as
up
big as me.
until yeah, up until my right before my junior years when I first started lifting weights. I got up to like 185, but I was a wide receiver / running back.
Mm.
And then once I put some weight on, my coaches were like, "Man, we might want to put you on some defense." So then
Right.
I started playing linebacker. Right, I played 3 varsity snaps my junior year. And that was all I played varsity junior year.
Right.
Then, but the summer before my senior year, I went to about 12, 12 football camps all around the country, pretty much all around the Midwest,
Right.
and Southeastern region. Went to all those camps within like a month and a half.
There you
Right,
go. Getting the
racked
work.
up. Exactly, racked up. I think I ended up with like 13, 14 offers. So then that's when I right away committed to Ole Miss before my senior year, and then I ended up decommitting right after the season. Then Eastern came on super late, but it was I was a late bloomer.
Right.
But luckily once I got to college, I was able to play right away. Led the team in tackles my sophomore year, and then even crazier things happened. I ended up breaking both legs in back-to-back years within
Yeah.
9 months.
I was gonna say I saw that you had, 2 years out and you had two separate leg injuries in 2 separate years, man.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk can you talk about that a little bit and kind of what was like for you battling back to get back on the field?
Yeah, man. So the first one was a week before the first game in 2014.
Hmm.
Missed that whole year. Next one was 9 months later in the spring game, 2015.
Hmm.
Missed that whole year. Right. So I was getting ready to go crazy my junior year, and I was ready
Right.
to go ahead and leave out right after that year.
Exactly.
Right. So I had to spend a lot of time in rehab. But I mean, it made me stronger, man. My legs came back even stronger than before. It was a battle, but man, perseverance, adversity, nothing I'm new to. So I'm gonna be bringing that all into my MMA career.
Absolutely, man. You did mention that you did spend a little bit of time with the Minnesota Vikings, after your college career was over. What was it like kind of, suiting up in the purple unis, man, and being on a part of an NFL program, kind of that dream that you've been chasing your whole life now to kind of, be in camp with one of those NFL squads and trying to make the team.
Man, it was dope. It was dope, and it was a dope experience. It was something that I mean, I wish I could go back and just relive those moments, because just
Right.
to soak it in a little bit more.
Hmm.
Because when you're in it, everything just feels like it's going a thousand miles per hour, and you're just living second by second, trying to
Right.
just impress people, over and over and over.
Right.
And that's pretty much, I mean, that's the life of an athlete, just continuously proving yourself. But man, it was dope. It was dope to be able to put that helmet on and go out there against top tier athletes in the 1% group. So, I mean, it was awesome. It wasn't anything I would go back. Like, I wouldn't change a thing the way it turned out, man.
For sure, man. 2019, you were a part of the Birmingham Iron, like we mentioned. 2020, you had your stint in the XFL. Was there any kind of motivation or any kind of dream to get back into the XFL, kind of once they had the whole rebrand after COVID and they picked back up this year in 2023? Was there any opportunity or anything like that for you to get back out there?
Yeah, man. I ended up having like roughly like 9 to 10 different workouts
Hmm.
between, I mean, NFL teams, semi teams, and all that. But I mean, uh, everything came down to numbers, and it was just hard to continue making that switch. And to be quite honest, man, I didn't have the funds to continue to just train and not work and just
Right.
train. You know what I mean? So it was about that time to go ahead and move on to something different. And I ended up working as a mortgage banker for 2 years just to see the corporate side.
Right.
Learn pretty quickly I can't do the sedentary lifestyle for too long.
Yeah.
So then I got into personal training, which I had been doing in my off seasons anyway. So
Right.
second nature for me. So now that's what I'm doing full time, along with training and whatnot. But yeah, man, it was an awesome time. I played for a good amount of time, but keeping that weight on, staying at 235, it's a struggle. It costs a lot to eat that much.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So,
It is
um,
crazy, man. You see a lot of these guys post like football career, how much smaller they get. And
yeah,
when you watch them as fans, you just assume that they're naturally that big. What I mean,
yeah,
you don't think about the amount of, caloric intake and all the work that you got to
exactly,
put in to maintain that size and also stay as a top athlete as well. So it is funny
exactly.
it is crazy to see like people post career how much smaller, especially like the big linemen, offensive linemen, defense linemen. They look like a whole different
No,
person coming out of
seriously.
their career. It
No,
is
you're right,
nuts.
man. You're right. Yeah.
It is
Now I walk
crazy.
around at like 215, so that's what my body feels, like the best at.
Right.
But yeah, 235, just that 20-pound difference, man, is a lot.
Oh, for
It's a
sure.
lot.
I can only imagine, man. All right, man, let's transition into this mixed martial arts journey that you're chasing right now. You mentioned it a little bit, but how did you get started in training mixed martial arts, and why did you decide that it was now was the time for you to get into this sport?
Yeah, man. So back in I mean, growing up, like I said, half my family they're state champion wrestlers.
Mm,
So I grew up wrestling. I didn't compete because I was playing football, basketball, and track.
right.
Those are my main things. So, but I always did it. I always was forced to wrestle on the side.
Mm,
And then I did jiu-jitsu throughout high school.
nice.
I ended up ranking up to just a yellow belt, but it takes time just to rank up. So,
Oh, for sure.
but yeah, so did that. And then I've been training boxing since like 2017. So that's like my main base.
Right.
And then as far as competing, I mean, my coach, Joshua Oxendine, that's who I've become pretty close with throughout the past like year and a half or so.
Nice.
And I mean, just training with him, and he was just like, man, you need to compete. You know, I told him like, man, I want to do boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like, man, you need to do MMA.
Right.
You know, then I've got a boy, Reggie Northrup,
Yeah.
who's
Shout out to Reggie.
shout out to Reggie, yes sir. Who he's been. I mean, we talk all the time. We play together in Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been pushing me to get into MMA. So I just keep hearing back to back. You know, like I need to get into it. So now I'm like, man, let me just go ahead and do it. Yeah, I love to fight. I love to be active, be aggressive. I mean, so it fits perfectly.
For sure, man. How do you feel like your football background has helped in this transition to MMA? Because obviously you're no stranger to working hard, being in the gym, putting in the hours, you know, on the gridiron. But how is it kind of transitioning into this specific training regimen that is MMA?
Yeah, good question, man. So I mean, I was a linebacker, so everything is up close. So it's pretty much like you're grappling
Right.
over and over and over, using your hands to fight. So I mean, the way that the training regimen from football goes over to MMA, it actually works very well because you're used to going in quick spurts,
Right.
stopping,
Hmm.
quick spurts, boom, stopping, right? So real explosive movements. So honestly, as far as like with my training, I can still do my football training, my field agility work, and then go do my pad work, my mitt work, my grip, grappling, do all that at the gym and
Right.
mix them all together. And I mean, cardio wise, I mean, I've never been better. I've never ran long distance. Now I'm running miles.
There you go.
Like like it's nothing, man. So it translates perfectly over, and I'm used to dealing with bigger bodies. So dealing with somebody that's the same weight as me, I mean, that's gonna be a cakewalk.
For sure, man. We've seen guys in football, successful football players at that, make the transition over to MMA as well. You know, we mentioned Reggie Northrup. Eric Anders in the UFC played linebacker at Bama. So no, and there's plenty of guys you could rattle off that have done this. So it's not like you're in uncharted waters here. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
very plausible and very possible to take that football background and turn it into a successful MMA career. So I mean, props to you for making that turn, man. We're very excited to see the debut of Ike Spearman in MMA. I'm sure it's going to be something amazing as well. And, going into your training camp, I know you mentioned your head coach. Where do you do most of your training? Where are you getting your jujitsu work? Where are you getting your pad work in for stand up? What's your camp looking like for this MMA journey?
Yeah, man. So I'm at Ox Fitness with my boy Joshua Oxendine, like damn near every day, and then on the sides on the weekends and a couple days throughout the week. I'm at Charlotte Jiu Jitsu Academy. So I pretty much spend my time between those two. And then I also train at a gym called Rebalance. And then that's also where I do like my strength and conditioning.
Nice.
And then, like some more conditioning work there. So between all three spots, I'm in there 7 days a week, along with doing my road work. So pretty extensive training camp, along with I just got out the sauna, doing some PT, doing massage. So, I mean, I'm getting my body primed and ready. But yeah, man, I'm ready to go.
There you go, man. That maintenance work is important as well, man. You got to keep that
Most
maintenance,
definitely.
especially when you're putting your body through the type of training and contact that you're putting your body through, man. So, props to you
Yeah.
for keeping on top of everything, making sure that you're staying healthy. That's super important as well. Let's talk about the fight, man. You are making your amateur MMA debut next Saturday, July 1st. You're taking on James Butler. You are fighting in the middleweight division. How much do you know about your opponent, if anything at all? Is there any tape that you were able to study on him? And what do you know about his game?
Yeah, man. So, who I was originally supposed to fight wasn't this James guy. So he's coming on pretty late, and apparently it's his first fight too.
Okay.
So I'm coming in blind. I don't know anything about him. So really, all I'm doing is just focusing on me. It's just me versus me right now. So,
Hmm.
I'm ready for whatever he comes with. I'll be ready to combat. But I've got my game plan, so he'll be going at my pace. So I'm really honestly not too worried about who's in there.
Definitely.
But yeah, man. So I don't know anything about him going in blind, but I'm ready to go in there and make it happen.
Definitely. I know this is obviously a change of pace for you because obviously, coming up in football, you have your opponent in front of you. You got, hours of tape to be able to study who you're lining up with across the line of scrimmage. Now you're going in 1v1 in a fist fight versus another man that you have no idea who he is or what he's about. Is there like a type of like a mental strategy that you have going into this where you're able to kind of like pull from past experiences or anything like that, where you're just going in there kind of blind to get ready for this?
Yeah, man. So I mean, as far as playing football, I've played in front of over 100,000 fans.
Mhm.
On multiple occasions. So I'm used to crowds. I'm used to pressure. I'm used to having an opponent. Shoot, I'm used to being an underdog. If you call me whatever you want to call me for this, but
Mhm.
um, I'm used to the pressure. So I mean, pretty much like I said, I'm going at it as it's me versus me. So in my training, I'm just not quitting, not giving up, treating my opponent like he's just as good, if not better than me. And I feel like, if I can beat myself, shit, nobody can beat me.
Definitely, man. Love that, man. Love that mind state. Love that mentality. You know, when the cage door locks on July 1st, man, what can the fans and the people watching expect from Ike Spearman once that cage door closes?
Yeah, man. So I'm going in there. I'm not gonna say guns a blazing, but I'm gonna have a good pace, and I'm gonna make it really exciting. It's gonna be exciting to watch. It's gonna be explosive. I mean, if I could just put it under one word, it's gonna be explosive. And I'm hoping to obviously make a name for myself. And I'm going in this thing without any kind of mantra, any kind of nickname, but I'm sure after this one, I'm definitely gonna have one.
There you go, man. I'm sure the fans and the people in your gym, they'll be able to, stick you with something nice after you come out there
Sure.
and do some damage on July 1st, man. I appreciate the time. Before I get you out of here, anything that you want to plug, any of the social medias you want people to come find you at? And also, are we going to be able to watch this fight at all? Is there any kind of streaming that we should be able to look out for?
Right. So my Instagram is Ike dot the trainer. Pretty simple. That's my IG.
Hmm.
That's my training page. I got everything on there. As far as the streaming for the fight, I want to say they're still trying to figure that out, but as soon as we do figure it out, check my page. I'll be able to post that link for sure. But no doubt about it, right after it's gonna be a quick, 15, 20-second clip of the fight, the highlights. So most definitely be ready for that. But once that link's available, I'll for sure post it. Then as far as like plugs, check me out at Rebalance if you're in the Charlotte area. Any kind of training, I got you. Got that work, field work, pro athletes, whatever. Let me know. I got you.
There you go, man. Like, I appreciate the time, man. We'll be tuning in, looking out for you, making sure that we follow the journey as well. I appreciate the time, man. It was a pleasure, chopping up, bringing back the football talk. 'Cause, I love football, so whenever I can mix football into my MMA work here, man, I love to do all types of
Yes,
stuff like that.
sir.
So I
Like that.
appreciate that, man. Thanks for the time once again, and best of luck Saturday night. Go get that W, start this journey off 1-0, and then the sky's the limit for you, my man.
Most definitely. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Get
it.
down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.